this channel is probably going to be some of the exciting things I do, as well as some of the makeup that I do on a regular day, and I decided to do like my basic look. Right now I do have foundation on, which I'm going to tell you what that is. I only have 2 foundations right now because one's running out, but I really liked this. I appreciated it a lot. It was a little too dark for my skin tone, which is really hard for me to get. Because I'm very white and I only have pink undertones. I really don't have any yellow undertones. A lot of foundations that are very light tend to have yellow undertones. At least the ones I've found that also work well and have full coverage are yellow or orange. So sometimes my foundation is not good. But this is what I had been using. Too orange for my face, in my opinion. Like, you could definitely tell. I stop my foundation right here normally because usually, you know, your chin kind of like has a dark spot, so it kind of, in my opinion, it helps it blend. When you're using like a sponge, if you put it right under there, you can't see that like solid line as bad. But right now I did use a little bit of that, the one I just showed you, because it's full coverage and I like that it gives me that. But I also mixed it with this, which I'm trying, and it also gives me a little bit of like a yellowy undertone. However, it's one of the closest foundations to my very white, soft skin tone that I have ever used, other than it gave me a yellow tone. So if there's any suggestions out there for anyone that knows foundation really well, I am always looking for a long-lasting foundation that is full coverage, that actually matches my skin tone. I'm very white with pink undertones. So I put both of these on already. Sorry if that's too much explaining. This is my first video, so forgive me. And then after I did my foundation, I actually mix a jar of, like, I had a little bit of powder foundation that I don't typically use unless I'm taking some of the oil out of regular foundation, kind of like so I used it basically as a setting powder. And so, since I was using it that way anyways, I actually got a setting powder from Ipsy. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but I mixed it with that foundation in there, and it works great. My skin is like normal. It's usually not oily, but it gets oily very easily, as well as it dries out very easily because it is normal. So I know that some people use oils before foundations and different things like that. I'm typically not someone who can do that. Maybe I'll make some videos for you guys to be able to see. And also, my eyebrows are wonky because I did one of them. This I've actually been using, and I actually need a new one, but it's brow sculpting gel. So I like to basically glue my eyebrows down because I have very long eyebrow hair, and I do wax. I have gone to cosmetology school, and I do trim my eyebrows, but they're still super long, and I don't like to consistently trim them because I feel like it makes them look just like a little less full. So I know this looks really weird right now, but once I get both my eyebrows on and once it sits on my face for a little while, I feel like it looks a lot better. When I first put it on every day, it's kind of like, what the... So I'm just going to apply my other eyebrow right now. I literally just like go in an up motion right here on the corner, and then from there I go out and over, and that's it. And then I take the gel and I brush up, which you'll see, and then I flatten the long hairs, and I kind of maybe put gel over the top of those too. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. It's a powdered eyebrow. I don't know what it's called. I've had it too long, probably, to be honest with you. It never runs out. And it is for eyebrows. It's not an eyeshadow. I know it definitely looks like a little eyeshadow palette, but it's not. Which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, you can totally get creative with eyeshadows. Like, if you want to do a purple look, put purple eyeshadow on your goddamn eyebrows. Like, it'll look amazing if you do it right. I feel like a lot of my character, though, is kind of in my eyebrows, so I don't like them thick, but I like them very noticeable. And my eyebrow hair is more like my natural hair color, which is this soft sandy brown, so they don't stand out without something on them, I feel like. Especially when my whole face is done and all pretty. And no, I have not perfected the eyebrow look, so you can kind of tell this one's not, like, perfect. It's literally just the makeup. Like, without makeup on, my eyebrows do look normal. I can wax pretty well. Makeup is a little difficult on the eyebrows for me because I like to keep it right inside my eyebrow line, but you also have to, like, kind of get it on the edge to get, you know, a nice defined line. Again, if anyone out there is like, they know what they're doing, they're very confident, they're very comfortable with it, let me know, really, please. Like, I enjoy input. I don't care. As long as you're not being mean to me, I don't care. If you're being mean, I A, will ignore your comment, and B, delete it. I will report you for being rude. I do not appreciate it. I don't mind if you have your own opinions, but, like, there's no need to call people names. Come on now. We're all adults. Maybe not, but, you know. So sometimes there will be music playing in the background. Right now, I have a show playing. You're probably going to get that 50-50 on my channel. See if you guys can guess the show. I'm not perfect at, like, editing videos yet, so I might keep a lot of this in. I'm going to try and take out as much as I can when it comes to me, like, blabbering on about nonsense. But we'll see. We're just doing the basics. You put on foundation. You wet a sponge. You wet your sponges. I don't know if anyone knows this. I didn't for the longest time, so, like, I'm not here to shame anyone. Please no one shame me. For the longest time, I did not know that this sponge was supposed to be wet. I feel like that's something I should have known, yes, but yes, you wet your sponge. I like to put it under the sink and just squeeze it a few times, especially if it's dirty. I put soap on it and rinse it out first, and then squeeze it a few times till all the bubbles come out. And you literally just I put foundation right on this. I don't like putting it directly on my skin, and then I just pat it all over. And if you need a little more, add a little bit more, but don't go overboard with it. You can tell when you're going overboard. It's gonna look oily, it's gonna look weird. You're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what the heck is going on? I promise. So, foundation's pretty simple. Eyebrows, go light with your eyebrows. Mine are very dark, as you can tell. They're very, very dark. But my suggestion, if it's one of your first times putting on makeup and you're looking this up because you just don't really know what you're doing, I suggest going light with your makeup. Like with a lot of your makeup, I go light. So when I first started putting on makeup, which I'm going to do my blush right now, because this is my basic makeup look, so I'm not going to do much eyeshadow. I like to do my blush, and then my contour, and then my highlight, because highlight's, you know, the lightest thing, where it should be. But when I first started doing blush, apparently, I didn't know this at the time, but an older brother told me years later that I caked it on. I still put blush on pretty heavy. Like, it's something very difficult for me to do lightly. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. I don't know if it's because I can't see it or because I'm used to the pink in my face. But at this point, I get a little powder and you can tell what I'm doing. It may not be the proper way to apply it, but it works for my face and it looks good. I literally just dab a little bit in certain areas to see how much is on the brush. And I don't know if you saw, but I kind of either do this or do this to kind of get some excess off. Otherwise, your blush is, especially if you're real white like me, your blush is going to come out too bright. I just suggest going as light as you can if you don't know what you're doing makeup-wise yet. It's perfectly fine to try heavier looks later. That's how you learn. But, like, I would suggest doing it on a day like you have at home and you're not going to go out anywhere, or you're hanging out with a friend and you want to give it a try with them, maybe someone who actually knows a little bit more about makeup. But that's my suggestion. Each their own. I fudged up a lot when I was younger and apparently always put way too much blush on. I had no idea how to do eye makeup. Like, I'm sure it looked like a hot mess most days, but I wore it proud and happy. So, and I always got compliments, but I was pretty young. I think I started putting on makeup like 6th grade year, maybe 7th grade. So, I mean, I didn't know anything, and I didn't look on YouTube. Personally, I wasn't one of those people. I just figured it out myself, or from friends, which is a great tool. If you guys have friends that do their makeup often and you like the way it looks, ask them. I'm sure they'll help. If you are a child, do not follow my lead. If you are not a child and you know who you are, this is great. So my blush, I'm going to do my contour and then I'm going to do my highlight. It's pretty simple. So a lot of people tell you to do like fish face, which is like this, to put on your contour. This does work for some face shape. For other face shapes, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And also, the way you apply blush also depends on your face shape. So my face shape, when I turn red, my whole like face right in this general area gets red. So I add a little, mostly my blush right here, but then I also sweep it out. I sweep it out onto my whole cheek area, just a light amount, because I know when I turn red, it's going to make it look a lot prettier and a lot more full, other than like my splotchy, embarrassed red that I normally get. Another way to do contour, other than making fish face, if it doesn't work on you or you feel like it doesn't look right, you have a hairline right here. So if you've got little baby hairs, which most of the time mine are pretty short right here because I cut them off. They drive me crazy when they're super long. But you can tell right here. See the bottom of this? You can literally follow this down at a slant. So like, if you were to follow this up at a slant, it would hit here. Well, you're going to follow it down at a slant, and you're probably going to stop right around here. That's probably as far as the contour needs to go. And I know people are really into baking nowadays. I don't bake. I'm not going to lie to you. I have never baked my face. I think that's the slang for it, maybe? I don't know, man. If I feel like it's too dark down here and I want it a little lighter, instead of putting on powder and letting it sit, I literally just add a little bit of concealer on my sponge and just dab a little bit right under here and right under here. I don't do it often. I just don't feel it's necessary. So this I actually got at Walgreens. Bronze Booster by Physicins Formula? I'm probably saying that wrong. I don't know. It's too early in the day for me. It's actually Bronze Booster. This isn't a bronze, but I'm very pale. So you can't tell as well on the camera as you can in real life because my camera is not as good as I'd like it to be. But you can still see this. Do you see that contour line on me? I can see it very clearly in real life. And this is just a Bronze Booster for me, so it's a lot easier to go with a bronze booster than it is trying to get a bronze that's light enough for your face. And I prefer a lot of powders to liquid stuff because my face does get oily very easily when liquids are added to it. I feel like I have a very large forehead, and I feel like most people feel this way. You can actually add contour right up in this little hairline area, just a little bit. Don't do too much. I used to do too much, and it made me feel like the top of my head just was dirty all day. So don't add too much. You only need a little bit up there, but yes, some people do contour the outside of their face just to give it a little bit more like slenderness almost, and some people actually contour right under here to make their jawbone pop a little more, once again adding to that slenderness of your jawline. So you can give that a try, something to experiment with. So I have a bunch of highlights, and I don't know what color I want to use. I am so upset about this. This is a beautiful, beautiful highlight. It's called Strobe. It's by Revolution. It's gorgeous. It's a golden highlight. It's very sparkly, but it is currently a powder, and it should be more like a powder like us. I'll show you. I made it into a crumble when it should be like pushed down into one spot. I'll actually use this if I can get it open. It's a gorgeous highlight. It's all in the lid. And I know how to fix this. I have been told. I have actually seen videos, but I'm lazy. And with most really pigmented highlights, you don't need very much. I'm telling you, it's just not necessary. I put a little bit right here and right above my eyebrow too. I usually put the main sweep right over here though, and I rub it and mix it pretty well. So like the initial sweep buzz, that's like how much I have on it. God, camera sucks. Sorry. You see that? So I put it right here and right above my eyebrow because I feel like I have a little bit of a sunken in eye look. I get it from my family. There's a lot of family members in my life that have a little bit of a sunken in eye look. So mine's not too bad, which I'm actually very happy about. Nothing's wrong with that if you do have sunken in eyes or anything like that, or that look, or you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be rude or diss anyone. I hope my family doesn't find this and is like, were you talking about me? Because I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen. But I feel like, especially without any makeup on, you guys already saw me with concealer on, and I kind of apply the concealer in basically the same spot I just put my highlight in for my eyes. Because I have bags under my eyes right here, as you can still tell with a full face of makeup on. I don't sleep like a normal person, so I'm always trying to find a way to fix that. And then on top of that, you can kind of tell right here, see how the shadow kind of goes up on my eye when I'm at certain angles? I hate this. I feel like I have just like maybe a slight little indentation right on the corner of my eye that goes up at an angle. I hate it, so I always try to like basically conceal it out or highlight it to make my face look very like straight right here instead of so sunken into my face. Once again, it all has to do with your face shape. If you feel this way about yourself, there are ways to correct it. Highlights raise things. They make them look like they're more out. And then contours make things look more like they're slender or going inwards. So it's really like your own opinion about your face, what your ideal image of beauty is. That's how I feel about makeup. I've talked a lot. I'm not gonna do anything crazy today because I'm gonna be pretty boring today, so I don't need to be fancy. I just got this. It's wonderful. It's James Charles. Morph made it with him. collaborated on it with him. I don't fucking know. He collaborated with them, one of the two. But I'll show you them in case none of you have seen James Charles or his palettes. They're very beautiful. They're wonderful. And this is real. I did buy it in like an Ulta store for too much money. No offense, James, or anyone else. I'm just the poor. I'm not going to use this one right now, just because it's new, and I usually only like to use this one since it was expensive for me personally, and it's so pigmented, and it sits so well on my face. I like to use that when I'm having an all-day, I want to look pretty kind of thing, you know, going to a dance at the end of the evening, going to a dinner, I don't know. I don't know what you do with your lives, but if you want to be pretty, I suggest a very nice pigmented palette like that. This is just a plain MAC one that I actually got at Target. No, this is not the one I got at Target, I'm lying. This one I got like at my school, I think, when I was in beauty school. So I usually just grab something small because I have a very tiny face, as you can tell. And once again, this is just my basic look. This is what I go out and do if I'm just like trying to throw something on and not look like half awake. I grab either a white or like a pinkish skin tone color, and then I apply it. I apply it all basically like right under my eyebrow. I feel like it. So can you guys see that line right there? My foundation clumps up on my eyes because they open so wide. So I feel like when I put this on all the way up to like basically this point on my face, it A, makes it like look a little better eyeshadow wise, and B, it stops this nonsense with the lines. It prevents it and it takes it away. Sometimes I even put this, if I'm using more of a white than a pink, right in the corner of my eye. I know that's like a very liked look, or it was for a little while. I don't know, I'm not a teenager anymore. I don't know what the hype is. Was that an old school thing to say? I'm not that old either. I may act like an old person, but I'm not that old. Anyways, then I take a softer brown, not a super dark brown, because I'm very pale. Once again, I'm super white. And I put it in my crease. I like to do this look when I'm just going out to run errands and I want to look like a real person, I want to feel beautiful, whatever. You know, when I'm just having a basic day. This is what I do. Which, this is not how I should be holding this brush, but okay. I want you to meet my parents. So do you see? It adds just like a little bit of depth to my eye when they're open. It's not too much. It's just enough to like, I don't know, it makes it look pretty to me. I look really good in browns though. Maybe you guys have a different color you want to do this kind of look with. Maybe you want to add a little bit more to the lid. I don't know. But I feel like once I get my mascara on, and this with my eyebrows, I feel it looks like a completed nice look. So do you kind of see the difference? I know my camera's not the greatest. It's also not the worst though, I'm not going to lie to you. So I know for makeup stuff it's probably not the greatest, and my lighting's not the greatest. It's all things I can work on if people really like my videos. So I hope you guys enjoy them. Oh no. I have a lot of palettes, so if you would like to see. I also have these. They're Too Faced. I don't know if any of you have any of these, but they smell wonderful. They smell on your face wonderful all day. And if anyone's like me who freaking freaks out about smells, like I don't like stinking. I love smelling pretty. I need to smell pretty. I don't care if I'm with my man or what I'm doing. I want to look and smell pretty. Smells are important. So these smell very pretty and they're very pigmented. These are Other than my James Charles, these are probably the second best palettes that I own, and they're probably the most used, to be honest with you. I have Crown. This is an okay palette. They seem very pigmented, and when they're going on your face, they didn't satisfy me as much as I thought they would. So James Charles, when I touch it, I mean, it looks very pigmented. This does the same thing. When you touch it, it looks very pigmented. It comes off on your finger easily, but I'm not impressed with the way it sits on my eyes. So I usually like to use these when I'm doing a lot of blended looks, instead of like the very specific looks. Like James Charles is being used for very like specific like crease cuts, things like that. I have this. This is probably just a cheap little one, but I actually really like this. It works pretty well for being something that I'm sure someone just bought at like Walgreens or something for me. Something to stick in my purse if I need to touch up my makeup. And this is the one I got at Target. It's e.l.f. and it works pretty good. It's another one that I use for blended looks. Blendeds. Anyways, I have Profusion, which I also enjoy for blended looks. And they're all very sparkly. These ones, I appreciate them because of how much sparkle they put into their product. And then I have another big case under everything that's honestly very old, and I should probably just throw it away at this point, but for some reason I keep it, and I literally don't ever use it. So I think I keep it just because in case like I want to do a certain color and it's not in one of these palettes, it's in that palette. That's my thought process. I'm a little bit of someone who like thinks everything might be used one day. I could use this one day, so why would I get rid of it? Like, a little bit of a hoarder because of that thought, though. Do you like my Ebenezer Scrooge shirt? Ebenezer Scrooge? Did I say that right? Probably not. So I'm actually not going to do any eyeliner today. I usually just do a very small wing, personally, on just typical easy days when I'm feeling like it. I'm just going to go ahead and apply my mascara now. So I know a lot of people like to do this kind of thing where they like move it back and forth in like a zigzag motion, moving up from the bottom to the top of your eyelashes. I personally just brush it on because I don't like the clumped look. Like, I don't, now that I did that on this side, do you see how like clumped up my eyelashes are? I'm not personally into that. I would rather them just look long and black and pretty and fluffy. So see how on this side it's like a little fluffier, and then this side they're kind of all clumped together because I did the zigzag motion on this eye. So all my eyelashes kind of like stick together when I do that. I feel like that may or may not be different for other people. I know in liking that style, it's definitely different. There's a lot of girls out there that love the clumped eyeshadow, mascara look. I'm not one of them. I just like a light little look on my eyelashes. They're already very long. They're just blonde, so you can't see them without something on them, is my only issue. And now I blinked a million times and I got a little bit of black down here. Yeah. And that's kind of my basic look. I mean, I put foundation on. The typical way to do makeup is usually eyeshadow, eyebrows, foundation, and then blush, contour, highlight, mascara. I know that's like the normal way to do it. I like to do it this way. It's just easier for my routine. It's easier to get up and do this really quickly. It's pretty simple. I actually feel like my contour is a little too intense. Just on the end. And this is perfectly okay. I didn't put anything on this. If you gotta fix something, fix it, man. Who gives a monkey butt? Alright, so this is it, and then I used to use this, and I really liked it. It is the Prep and Prime. You can also use it as a setting spray. It is from, oh shoot, what are they called again? It's Cherry Blossom from some well-known organization that I can't think the name of. So, there you go. Oh, it's MAC. Oh my Jesus. Anyways, so I just got this the other day because clearly that one's basically empty. It's got like a drop left in there. This is called All Nighter, and it's used a lot by other makeup artists online, so I wanted to give it a try. It definitely goes on your face very, very lightly. Like the last one I used, I had to hold it out here, and it literally just like drenched my face. This one goes on very lightly, which I appreciate about it, but it's something that I'm still getting used to currently, because I'm holding it, I think, too far from my face, and not spraying it enough times because I'm used to something that drenches my face on one go. So far, it seems to very much hold my makeup, so makes me happy. I think actually on this box, they actually say to like spray it in a T and an X or an X, but only like 3 to 4 times, and I'm like, so am I supposed to spray it like in the 4X spots, or am I supposed to spray it here? Like, what do you mean? I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb and I don't get it. Maybe I have to look that up and see what other people are doing. But it feels really good on my face, and it's still breathable on my face. The last one I used, I personally liked the fact that it felt a little heavier on my face, because to me, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's working really good. And I could literally lay on, I know it worked good, because I could literally have a full face completely done more than this, like roll around in my bed on my pillows, and my makeup would not come off. It just wouldn't. So this one right now, it doesn't seem to be coming off at all either, but we'll see. I'll definitely let you guys know by the time I've used the bottle a little more how I'm feeling about it. I think that's it though. So I hope you guys have a good day, or night, or evening, or whatever time you are watching this. Also, if you guys are interested in more of my stuff, I post a lot more to Instagram right now. It's SIERASFX. So that's my Instagram name. If you guys want to go follow that account, I'm pretty sure it might be on private, but you guys can still ask to follow that account. If it's on private, it's only because, like, I just don't want some weirdo out there finding me, but, like, I'm probably going to accept anyone anyways, so I don't know. Blonde moment, I suppose. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm going to go put on my lipstick. So these are my top... Sorry, something weird is happening on the TV. These are my top favorites. And I have a lot of lipstick and lip gloss. But right now, these are my favorites. I prefer reds. Bright reds or dark reds on my lips. I don't like the color pink. Sorry for anyone out there that does and is all sad about that. I'm not a big fan of the color pink. This is actually definitely more of a bright red than a pink. I think this one is the one I use most often. And these are matte lipsticks. So the only time I've experienced, this one's NYX, so NYX. Sorry, stupid camera. I don't know. Oh, there we go. I tried. You're welcome. So, this is, matte lipstick, so it is supposed to set on my lips and stay all day, and for the most part it does. However, I find if I'm very hot, that it kind of melts off my face. Like, I do live in Arizona, so like the Arizona heat definitely melts it. That's my opinion on it. And the only other time it really comes off is if, like, you are drinking something or eating something. It stays on your face other than that. Like, I vape all day, and it doesn't come off on my vapes very often unless, like, I'm real hot. Once again, unless, like, I'm real hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. There's actually a waterline on your lips, and it's not necessarily called a waterline. I might be calling it the wrong thing, but if you look really closely, there's a little white like line or a soft pink line that surrounds your lips. So if you get like a close-up mirror, or if you have a very good camera at home and you want to do it in the camera and that makes you more comfortable, you literally just follow that line. And some people have crooked lips. I personally have crooked lips. My lipstick always looks like I'm doing it wrong because I have crooked lips. I have fixed it before, but some days, like, it's just not working for me. Some days my lips still look crooked to me, so. Another thing about, like, lipsticks like this, where you dip it in and you come out with it, I always wipe a little bit on the edge. Because you don't want too much, especially if you already have, like, some on your lip. If you put too much on, you'll end up, like, having a big glob somewhere and trying to spread it, and it's either going to get someplace you don't want it to be, or it's just gonna, like, look like a hot mess, basically. So, less is better. If you need more, you can always get more. The bottle is in your hand. Okay, so my lips, personally, I have a very M-shaped lip, which you can't tell anymore, but I did just get up to the camera a minute ago, really close. So my lipstick, sometimes I try to apply it to keep that M up in the top of my lip. Other times it looks like my M is too far apart when I try and just put lipstick on. So if you're someone like me who has very defined top lip, my suggestion is do what feels right. So if it's looking weird because you define it too much, then fill that in just a little bit more. Like, see how you can still tell my lips clearly go, like, up and kind of over and then go in? You can still tell, but it's not as defined as it is naturally. It still looks fine. That's all up to you. That's at your own discretion. Alright, now I'm done talking. I'm sorry that I've killed you all with my non-stop chattering. You're welcome. Let's stop the video now.